I'm your sit-in host, Terrence Cephas. Today our guest is going to be Kevin Johnson. He is a businessman, an entrepreneur. He's a credit to his community, and we're going to talk about a situation that he was involved in, and we're going to give it some background. So let's first just say, hey, how you doing, Mr. Kevin Johnson?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm good.
Good.
The first question is, tell us how you got involved in you were part of a concert promotion group, correct?
Yes. I was away at college at Illinois State University. Back in, it was like 1987, 88, I was away at school, and I got a call from Terrence about doing a investment for a concert. And I said, sure. And he was telling me about the artist. And it was with Terrence Spring and Al Kennedy. So I came home, got the money, put it up with Terrence, and we did the concert. The first concert went pretty well. I believe we made a little profit off of it, and we decided we were going to do another one. And it was a little bit farther down the road, but after the first one, everything was great. I was smiling. I had a little money back for school, so I could eat. So I was like, well, yeah, let's do the next one. I think Terrence came back. So the first one was in like November of '88 or something like that. We were going to do another one the following year. I think we did the next one the following year, sometime in can't believe right before school was out, so sometime like March, April. I know it was still cold outside, and because I came back again for that concert, and this time it was Kid and Play, MC Light, I believe KRS-One, and I was excited because those were my people that I listened to at the time. They were like, man, I get to actually meet these folks. Same thing again, came back, got the money to Terrence, put it through, same people were involved with it, me, Terrence, Spring, and Al Kennedy.
Okay, so the concerts were going pretty good. You were making money. How old were you at the time?
I was 18 at the time.
18. So you were making money at 18. And everything was going pretty good. You had concerts with EPMD, Eric B. and Rakim, MC Light, Kid and Play, and KRS-One.
Yep.
Did you do any other concerts after that?
I believe we did. I can't recall at the time. Those ones are the ones I kind of remember the most because, like I said, those were my favorite artists at the time. But I think we did some type of comedy show or play or something like that, and I think that's when everything kind of started falling apart from there with Al and his shenanigans.
So I believe that concert was with Damon Wayans was definitely one of the people that was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere in between there was a fashion show at the Park West. I remember that too. Now, Al Kennedy, you had a pretty good relationship with him back then, correct?
Yeah, he was a frat brother, so we Phi Beta Sigma, so you would think that if you're doing things with your fraternity brothers, everything would turn out right and they gonna do right by you, but it is what it is. Some people, they call themselves part of the family, but they're really not family.
And can you tell me a little bit, what kind of job did Al Kennedy have at the time?
He was a police detective for the Chicago Police Department.
Okay. And then the concerts began to go in another direction then, I'm guessing, correct?
Yes, they went to another direction in terms of not making any money, allegedly. Because I think at that time, you were involved with it and Spring got out of something because she said that it wasn't something wasn't right with the way Al was doing business.
Did you do any other
And
concerts
she
after that?
got out of it or whatever. And I think you. I don't think we made any money at one time or something. Or I think you just paid my money back or something. You covered for his end for when he had older or whatever. And I think you eventually got it back. But it was just like Al was becoming a little bit too greedy for his own good.
And so, as a couple of years passed, I remember one show he said he was doing on the East Coast, and this is where it seemed that things were falling apart. At one point, he had got one of our friends who was an attorney, that attorney got an executive of a major corporation involved, and we were involved, and a young man was involved. And what happened with the promises of the money?
At that moment, I don't think I was involved with that one. I think that's the one with, I think Sarai got involved with that. Sarai, I can't think of the attorney's name, and there was another young guy involved with that.
Right.
And at that time, I remember you telling me something about it was that he didn't pay Sarai back on money. He still owes Sarai money right to this day. You know, you call him up, he won't answer the phone, he just dodges you. But I know the attorney, he got his money back, and the young guy got his money back because the young guy wasn't playing with him and told him that. So he didn't care if he was a CPD or not. He was a crooked CPD at this time. So.
Okay, so you weren't involved with that concert. I remember the young man called Al on the phone, and he was livid, and he used language that we can't use right now, but what he basically said was, you need to give me my money or else. And then Al Kennedy said, I'm a cop. And as you said earlier, the young man said, you're a crooked cop.
Yeah.
And so the next day, Al Kennedy gave him his $10,000 investment back. Now, the reason we're talking about this is because we're not trying to put the spotlight just on Al Kennedy, but there are people like that in our community who are not forthright. And so this has been going on for quite a while. So you got back involved with the concert that he was doing allegedly with Yolanda Adams, Kirk Franklin, and Donnie McClurkin. And it was supposed to be a small tour. And you want to tell the audience how much you invested in that concert?
So he originally came to me and asked for $6,000, which I did. Because I talked to you about it, I said, what do you think now? He's like, I think he's kind of learned his lesson now. I think Al will, go ahead and be okay. So I said, okay. So I initially invested $6,000, and then he came back and asked me for another $6,000. So I said, cool. And my return on that was supposed to be like between $14,000 or something like that. Concert went on, and then afterwards, no Al, just disappeared, no money. Asking Al, where's my money at? Like, oh, it didn't turn out right. Like, show me the paperwork on it. Let's see what came up, because usually you're not going to make any money off concerts, because I've done other concerts and brought Trina and Luke. We brought Trina and Luke here. We didn't make anything off of it, but we broke even. So I said, let me see that, because I got the start in it from Al in terms of through Terrence of how to do the concert, but we ventured out on our own and started doing things on our own. And I know how to book the artists and have them come in and everything, the riders and everything that's involved with that. So I know what to look for. So he didn't show any type of paperwork, but he steadily was avoiding me and still avoids me to this day. I've talked to him a few times, like, oh, I'm gonna get you some money. It's hard out here, but I've talked to another guy that just did a concert with him a couple years ago, and Al didn't know I knew him, and he didn't know I knew Al, and he just was telling me about it. He did this concert with Al. I'm like, oh, okay, how'd it turn out? He's like, man, I did pretty good, and I got my money back. I was like, oh, wow. So I immediately called Al up like, where's my money at? Like, I know you just did this concert and you paid this person back, so where's my money? And oh yeah, I'm gonna get it to you, man. I'm just I'm just going through some things right now and doing some things, but I got you, I got you, I got you, and hung up the phone, and that was that. So, which brings me back to where we are right now, is I still have not been paid. He refuses to take my phone calls, and then I do catch him on the phone. It's always another lie. The next step is going to be, I think I still have some old paperwork. The next step is going to be proceedings to try to collect what I can from him.
There was some time that lapsed between one of the shows and then the last show. Do you remember about what year that was, that last show?
So this is 2016, so it had to be like, it's been about 5 years, so it had to be like 2010, maybe 2011, somewhere in between there.
From the time of 2010 or 11, you've tried to reach out to Mr. Al Kennedy, and we want to make sure that you all see his picture, because we're getting these images right off of Google. They're Getty images. We're not trying to blast him out per se, but we got to tighten up our act in our own community. So it's been about 5 or 6 years. You've been very patient with Mr. Al Kennedy. We know that he moved. He changed his address. And you've still been trying to keep in touch with him, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So Kevin, you said your next step would probably be legal proceedings?
Yes, for sure.
But what would you say to that camera right now, if Al was on the other end of it, what would you like to say to him?
Al, where's my money and when will I get it? And don't. So here's the thing. We've already talked about you paying me in increments now. But it's past that because you've lied about that. So now I want to know, when am I going to get my money? Because you've made money off concerts. You're still making money to this day off concerts. So the little money that you owe me, and then that you also, Sarai, you should pay it.
And me.
And also Terrence.
And you've still been trying to keep in touch with him, correct?
Yep.
So let's try something real quick. We're going to try to give Mr. Kennedy a call, because before we did this show, we sent out a note to him asking him if he wanted to be a part of the show. He never responded. So then we corresponded to him by way of text. He did not respond again. And right now I have a Google Voice phone number, so let's see if he answers the phone call. We're calling Mr. Kennedy now. I don't think I can get him on speakerphone on this one, so I'm going to have to hold it up to my ear. But we can hear it. So far there's no answer on that phone. Now we're going to call him from my regular phone and see if we can hear from Mr. Kennedy. He's still in my phone. Let's see.
I think there's phone too. I think calling on mine too.
I'll put him on speaker.
I think there's phone too. I think calling on mine too.
I'll put him on speaker. And again, no answer. Hey, Mr. Kennedy, we're trying to catch you. We're taping a show and we just need your feedback. So if you can get back to us, I have to tell you later, you know the number.
Terrence. Forgot about that.
Yeah. So we want to thank Mr. Kevin Johnson because he helped put this segment together. He's one of our investors, supporters, still a young man. And I'm looking for a host for this show. So if you're interested in hosting this show, Scam, Shammed, and Bamboozled, hit me up at junebugnim@gmail.com. Again, that's junebugnim@gmail.com. Thank you right now. We're going to say see you later. Ciao. Adios.